It's been a couple of weeks for me. I know Steve has been busy supporting you guys through relationships. Steve's about to hop on here real soon, and we're going to sit here and talk a little bit more about love and relationships. As you know, let me see if that's him right here. Approve. I think we're getting so good at this now. Good morning. Hello. Steve, I think you should be able to be sliding here with me very soon. There you are. Hello.
Yay.
How's it going?
It worked easier this time. What's the deal?
We're getting better. We're mastering this stuff. Good morning, everyone.
Woo.
Hello, Angelo. And let's see, I can try and see who else is in, but unfortunately, it goes really, really fast as you guys pop in. So good morning, everyone. We're so excited you're here with us. Hello, Frederick Martinez.
Morning. It's noon here.
Oh, it's true, isn't it? My dear friend Frederick's actually doing a book launch tomorrow, and I'm going to be there to support him and introduce him. I'm super excited to do that. So,
cool.
Very exciting stuff. So if you're in Arizona, reach out to me and I'll let you know where that is, and you can come join us.
Catherine's here too. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Catherine. Can you see the people? I can't see your people. I think I can only see my people.
I can only see your people. Yeah.
Can you see my people too? Okay. Too funny. So we have a lot to discuss this morning. How are you? Well, in this afternoon for you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I have a live webinar on business building coming up in 3 hours. So I've been active all morning trying to get things done. So you know how that works, just like preparing for a Facebook Live.
Exactly. Well, what have you been learning or working through with some of your clients around love? Have you had any new things you'd like to share?
Business-wise or romance-wise?
Romance-wise, we're here to discuss love.
You know what? I had somebody just the other day connect with me, and as I was talking about it, one of my business people said, "You do relationship work?" I went, "Oh yeah, that's actually one of my passions is doing relationship work." And that's like there's Carla Lee, and Carla Lee and I were friends when we were in grade school. That's how long back we go. But yeah, so we were talking about relationship work, and I get on Quora. Do you ever get on Quora? That Quora. It's just a fun site. I find it interesting. If you guys don't belong to Quora, all it is a site where people can ask any kind of question of anybody, and then who jumps in to answer it. So a lot of times, you know, you can sign up for relationship questions or business questions, and I get all kinds of weird questions there. You know, it's you know, should I date somebody who tells me they don't like me? No, you shouldn't.
Funny. That is very funny. Good morning, Kathy. Hello, Will. Oh my goodness, look at all these wonderful people popping on this morning. How exciting. Great to see all of you. If anybody has any questions that they'd like to ask us, by all means, you know, just to get our perspective on how we navigate something, by all means, pop it in and I will read away. I've actually, as we know, I work a lot with clients privately still, and I love the opportunity to be in the thick of relationships and helping with mutual communication and navigating some of those interesting things. And I feel like a lot of the times things go in seasons, like a lot of my clients will all together be going through a transition of some kind, and I think it's so fascinating. And just to watch how even like around holidays, we're approaching now going into the holidays, you know, we're looking at October. I know we're not in October at all, but you're starting to see all the candy coming out and all these weird things going on. I know I'm already there. I've got little ones, what can I say? So it is fascinating to me that even in relationships as a whole, if you kind of step back, you can see that there is like a environmental charge that happens. You know, like I think of Valentine's Day, that one's kind of obvious. Everyone's in love and, you know, looking for love, or they're focused on love. And like even in business, there's cycles where there's a harvesting season where you get a lot of business coming in and all that, you know, same kind of thing. So I'm watching this really cool experience where there's a lot of uncertainty in relationships, and a lot of, I think that's always the case. There's a lot of uncertainty in relationships, you know, like you're defining yourself based on somebody else in that relationship. But I'm watching real specifically this need to be identified to relate to someone else by letting them esteem you. like finding your self-value in someone else. And that can be a very, it's a trap. It really is. It can be short-lived. It can be very superficial, because, you know, only people can only see what you are willing to show or share. And when it's, you know, not maybe the best version of yourself at that moment, you're going through something outside of your relationship, and they're mirroring back more anger and other experiences you're having at that time, it can make you insecure and feel uncertain about who you are. So I just wanted to play with that. Have you noticed any of those kinds of things? I know that relates even in business, because you see sometimes you think what's going on in business outside reflects what your business is really doing, but it really isn't. It has no relation. Just your state of mind.
And what I think, and when we're getting into what you're talking about here, I think a lot of times, you said we're approaching the holidays. You know, we don't think about it. I mean, it's not something we're consciously. I mean, unless you see the tree at Sam's Club or something. You know, they got the Christmas trees up. You know, but right. We don't think about it. But it is in the back of our minds. Yeah. And so when we start this process, I think so many times people start to get a little panicky. Like, are they going to be able to come with me? You know, where's the relationship heading as we head into these type of situations? And I think that's a big problem. Like you said, so many times we become, I have people ask me, Tamra, they go, especially women asking me about the men, why do the men become somebody and then 3 or 4 months into the relationship, they're not that person anymore? And I go, you know, that's part of what we do. Like, you do that at the office, you do that at every place you go. You become who somebody else needs you to be, because that's an adaptation that we somehow find ourselves taking. And in that process, we also find a way, emotionally, mentally, everything else, to fit into the other person's life the way they really need us to fit in. And it's not us. Now, it's not something we do consciously. We don't sit there and go, I'm always going to open the door for you, and then I never do it again, right? It's some things that we do unconsciously, and as we do it unconsciously, the other person comes to expect that's who we'll be. And down the road, when we start going, hey, that's not what I really want to do, or that's not who I really am, people go, well, you've been a liar all this time. And the answer is, we're not really lying as much as we just molded ourselves. We just adapted because, like you said, we wanted to fit in. We wanted to be important to somebody else, right?
Okay, so I love that you're bringing that up. I think I see a lot of people, you know me, right? I see what you're talking about. I might kill myself now. No. But I'd like to share my perspective on that, because I think we all put on roles. What's that?
I said that's why we're together, because we have differing opinions, and that's what makes us work. Yeah.
I know, I love that, and I think it's very true. I think in a lot of relationships, when it's new and exciting and fresh, and everyone's like putting on this best self, right? You're like trying to show how valuable you are, and it's not really unauthentic. I mean, you are really genuinely falling for someone. You're like loving these new experiences you're having, and you're thinking it's gonna be like this forever. Well, unfortunately, what I've learned and what I've witnessed in other people and working with all my clients is it's kind of a lusty state. And I don't mean lust as a negative thing. I know a lot of people think of lust as a bad thing, or maybe it's, you know, but it's an igniter, it's a stimulator, you know, that there's this immediate attraction, like the polarity's right there. And then unfortunately, as some of that excitement burns off, the igniting chemistry should, in a healthy relationship, cultivate into love. Unfortunately, a lot of the times we start trying to, if somebody does things and all of a sudden they stop doing them, what does that say?
I'm just saying hi to the people there. I didn't want to interrupt you, so I thought I'd stick a sign up, and then I interrupted.
You can tell you say hello. That's so sweet. How cute. So what has happened, what I see happening is we try so hard to be a part of a relationship and connect with somebody, and it's all this new and exciting stuff is happening, and it's this really cool connection. But then as it starts to become normal, or we start to open up and become more vulnerable and more exposed, we start going, oh, whoa, what is that? I don't know what that is. That feels uncomfortable. I don't like it when you do that. Instead of going, wow, what am I saying, or what am I sharing with you that is creating that experience out of you, or that reaction from you? Because it's not that they're changing, it's the relationship is evolving. And we lose connection to this belief. We believe that what we have when we meet someone right off the bat, that is who they are. But actually, you're meeting somebody, you know, when you make a friend in the beginning, you build a relationship over time of trust. It's not automatic. And I think a lot of the time in our love relationships, we just think, oh, they're just, you know, they're all these, but there's such depth there, there's such potential. And we don't allow it to unfold. And we really jump in and we start accusing each other of being different and not being loving like you were in the beginning. Well, yeah, probably not, because you made time to get to know somebody in the beginning, and all of a sudden life happens and you got to go to work and you have kids, or you know, if you're a mom that, you know, or a man who's had children and you have responsibilities outside of the relationship, yeah, it's going to naturally evolve, and you should support each other. And there's this collaboration that doesn't happen in a beautiful relationship. There's this balance that should start to happen. So I agree with you. I think a lot of the times that happens. Go ahead.
You said a couple things there, and you touched on kids. And matter of fact, I had somebody the other day at one of my groups. We were talking about blended families, and they were struggling. They were struggling with discipline to their children. And I said, you know, what's funny is during my second marriage, we had she had a 5-year-old. We got married, then we had our own, and so there was an 8-year difference between the age of the kids. Plus, I had a daughter who would come and visit on the weekends. So it was a struggle to try and get everything balanced. And one of the things that involved us was she kept saying that I treated her son worse than I treated our son. And I tried to explain that, because what I said was there's different disciplines that work for each child. And if you're a parent who doesn't understand the discipline difference. So for example, my stepson understood that, hey, if you do this, I'm going to whack you. And he was like, you know, and then sometimes he'd press his limit and you'd have to whack him. So she would see me whacking my son. And then my, full son, the son from both of us, he was like, go ahead and whack me. I don't care. He was 3 years old the first time that didn't hurt. I whacked him pretty good. He said, that didn't hurt. I whacked him again. He went, didn't hurt. And suddenly I realized, it hurt my hand. So I know it hurt his butt, but that was not his discipline. And what I learned was, if you took stuff away from him, that became his discipline. My daughter was the opposite. When she would come over and not always meet the same discipline examples, it was, first of all, she didn't know our life, so she came in doing her thing. So when we said, hey, you can't do that, it was more of a talking and understanding discipline, because she was only there, one weekend out of the month. So each child, when we talk about these things, each child brings challenges into the relationship too. So when you're putting together a relationship of blended families, the love and passion is great when you're there and there's no kids around. And then, like you said, everybody decides finally to introduce the kids to the relationship. So you're on your best behavior for those 2, 3, 4 weeks, maybe 2, 3, 4 months before you introduce the kids into this. And then the dynamic changes and everything changes, and you have to adapt, don't you?
Yeah, I think there's a lot that you brought there. There's you've got the age difference of children in a married, even in the beginning, say in the beginning of a relationship, let's not even go into the whole marriage and the multiple age ranges that you had to cope with. There's the two people that are coming together have their own life journeys, and we have to honor the individual life journeys so that when they come together, that they can be supportive and not separate. But in the beginning, you have to create time for one to go off and do their independent journey and come together and support each other when you're together. There's that ebb and flow in a relationship in the beginning, right? And then later on, as trust has been established and that open space gradually becomes stronger, and you can lean on each other more in a loving, supportive, not judgmental or not hearing judgment. Because sometimes somebody will support you and they're not judging you, but because of where your wound is around that issue, you start feeling judged. So like when you're talking about the two different styles of discipline, we all have different discipline styles. So I don't want to get into a topic of, hitting or not hitting or any of that stuff, because it's all individual. But like you said, each child's needs for discipline and their love language and the way they connect and the way they communicate comes from different sources. So age is a factor, exposure, parental styles. There's a lot you have to, I mean, in a relationship with children, there's a lot more going on than just love.
It should be easy, shouldn't it? It should be easy. Love should be easy. Relationship should be
complicated. I feel like we make it complicated. I think we put up these expectations and these desires for us and what we think we need in order to be supported, instead of loving what shows up in our lives. Instead of opening up and going, oh my gosh, this person's coming in and my life is a hot mess and I got all this craziness going on. I got companies, I got kids, I got divorce, I got all this craziness going on. And somebody's courageous enough to come in and support you in that situation and have their own personal journey and work to go through. How cool is that, to have this opportunity to collaborate two families together and really see if they can support each other? Because doing it all by yourself is, I mean, impressive. It's exciting. It's a lot more controlled. There's a lot of safety in doing things independently. But having a support system and somebody to lean on and to love you through the process, even in the dark hours where you are really going at each other and really struggling, and having that open communication and that love, even though that's what we're here for. That's the connection, you know, because we can do it alone. Absolutely. Single moms, single dads running around, getting kids through college, doing their best. I mean, those people are profound and they're doing amazing work. But even in blended families and the collaborative experience, amazing. We all need our tribal support. And I think it's so important that we don't lose sight of the time it takes. Rushing through love is, I think, where we really end up kind of derailing this really awesome chance to grow and cultivate relationships. They want to go from this lust right into this committed relationship, or, you know, I should be able to lean on you with all my stuff and the things that are going on in my life, instead of letting someone learn about how you react and respond. You know, putting the brakes on things in the beginning, allowing the relationship to evolve, is really hard because we're all excited. We want to, you know, spend every waking second together, and you know, it's very exciting, right? And you know, all these wonderful trips, if you guys do trips together, or, you know, bringing family and doing family things together, if you know, doing holiday times. And it's work, but it's at the same time, if you can take it slowly like breath, then it does evolve in a beautiful, stable way. I think when we force things, we create forced change, and we create that resistance, versus a natural change where, you know, everything is there and you get to work through it together and it's more of a team relationship. I think that's really exciting.
Well, I think, and that's, you said it, a couple things, different things in there. One of which is you have to find the time to make it work for you. I think that's why some couples actually go out on a, you know, like they set aside a date night to get away from the kids. But it's even probably more important than a date night. It's more important that you have a connect night. Whether you go anywhere, whether you don't go somewhere, it's a matter of getting together and being able to really communicate. And one of the challenges, you know, is knowing how to argue or knowing how to disagree. And that's one of the challenges. So when I disagree with what you have to say and you disagree with what I have to say, do I get upset? Do I get offended? You know, do I harbor ill will? Pardon?
Make it personal? Oh, you offended me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
And that's the cool thing about that stuff, is where you start to really show up and realize why you're taking things personal. And it's like this really neat experience. All of a sudden you're like, why did I get triggered over that? It's so funny. If somebody else said that to me, I wouldn't have got upset. But if she says it or he says it, wow, it's like straight to the heart. It's like, wow, that's really interesting. And it's the amount of love and openness you allow someone to step into your life. And, you know, can you allow someone to say things in their pain and not take it personal? Because that's usually, I mean, we hurt when we're hurting. When we are hurting, we hurt others more so. Because it's a survival need. And I get that. So it does take time to like go, okay, wait a minute. Well, I'm totally like taking this personal. It is not about me. And I realize that. Or if somebody's, you know, projecting onto you and saying hurtful things, you have to kind of realize, you know, wow, what happened? Where did the miscommunication happen? And really pause, you know. One of my favorite things I teach a lot of my clients is called Dove. And it's, instead of a timeout, I think of people relating it to as a punishment. So I've taken that element away and I say the word dove, because that means peace. You know, a lot of religions use that as a symbol, passing the olive branch or extending that space. And it's a very loving way to say, you know what, I'm really not open to hearing right now. And I'm very much in my belief and I'm very angry and I'm going to make it worse versus better. So let's take a moment, breathe, and come back. And it really is amazing how powerful that is, that pause.
Well, I was working with somebody a few months ago, and it was her and a live-in partner. And it was one of those situations where he said, she keeps doing this. And when I try and talk, she would do this. And she goes, I don't do that. I went, okay. And then later on when he said the same thing, she went, this. And I went, okay, well, you're kind of doing it right now. I said, so what we have to do is set the limits and say, you shouldn't be doing that. And she said, okay, I understand, and I won't do that from now on. And within 3 minutes of the rest of the conversation, she was doing it again. But we have these wonderful patterns that we fall into in relation to our partners that we develop within ourselves. So it becomes like a defense mechanism. And we start pushing them away because we think that's what's going to ship them up, put them in shape, get them ship shape and ready to go, because I'm telling you what I'm feeling and I don't care what you're feeling. That's part of the challenge.
It's really interesting. A lot of the times too, when somebody tells you can't think of it or do something, what are they going to do? I mean, it's like the whole, thing they say, don't think of a white elephant, and then everyone's thinking about a white elephant, right? I mean, the more you draw out this belief that you shouldn't do something, it accentuates the issue. And so I feel like the best way to navigate even that kind of simple, when you do this, I make up. I feel like when you say that, I hear I've hurt you or I've done something wrong, and I go into my shame about that I did something to create that. When you're really just telling me don't do that because I get in a place of feeling unsafe, there's got to be a different way to navigate that. There's a really cool opportunity to sit there and go, okay, when you do that, I make up this. And it gives somebody that, oh, that's why you act that way. Oh, now I can go, okay, yeah, when I do that, I'm going to trigger this belief in you. And it creates a total different experience.
And you know what you're saying there is one of the reasons we're on doing this, and one of the reasons we invite you to come work in our workshops is because finding how to have a relationship and finding how to love is really a skill. Most of the time we haven't been taught this skill. So finding out from people like Tamra and myself, what creates those triggers, how do you develop those triggers so that if that happens, you can recognize the trigger. That's a skill you can learn so that you can avoid the same kind of hurt and pain that you might be either inflicting or feeling. And those are skills. So remember that love is a skill. Relationships are a skill. And learning what it takes to make these things happen, learning how to reduce them, learning how to increase the things that are good for us, those are skills that you have to come to the table. So a lot of times when you get into a workbook situation, so coming to one of our live events can put you in a workbook where you actually write down stuff, and when you write it down, it's something that becomes real. And so as we move forward, matter of fact, we're actually filling up our Tampa event. It looks like we're almost done with that. One of the things we have to do is make sure that on our next event, you guys get in early so we can have a workbook set aside for you to learn how to love. And that is really important because the skills that you develop, whether you're in a relationship, you want it better, whether you need to find a relationship, or sadly, if you need to get out of a relationship because it's just toxic. I had somebody ask me that the other day. They said, what should I do if my partner is always doing this? And of course, it should involve a bigger conversation. But on a cursory level, you say, if your partner's always doing that, first of all, have you talked to them about it? And second of all, have they tried to stop? And then thirdly, if they keep doing that, it's time to go, right? So
or
no matter what.
Yeah, or are you trying to change somebody? I mean, did you step in a relationship where you're trying to make somebody different because you believe something about them is better than they are ready to do? I mean, a lot of times we force people into life-changing situations before they're ready, and that's not fair, So there's a lot there.
When should I, like, if I tell somebody I love them, shouldn't they tell me back? Kind of force them into that?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Just because you said it, I have to say it.
I want to celebrate all the people that are watching right now, and thank you so much for being here. Is there anybody that has any questions or maybe any comments about the things we're talking about that you would like to add to or ask, what do we mean about that, or where are we going with that? because we really want this time to be dedicated to you guys and helping just whatever you're going through. It doesn't have to be personal. I'm not asking you to be super vulnerable, but maybe there's something you keep on seeing in your dating world or in your love life that keeps happening again and again. And you're like, really, why is that? What is that weird thing? And why does it happen again and again? So by all means, we're going to be doing this every Wednesday at 9 o'clock my time, 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock your time, sorry. And although when the time changes, it's going to be totally different, so we shouldn't even do it that way. But anyway.
Time change? I thought we were doing away with that, aren't we? Aren't we doing away with the time change?
Cool. Arizona's already on that. We don't do time change. We're cool. Figure that out. So, yeah.
I think that's the way it should be.
Love to make this more about you guys and what we can do to help navigate some little things that you've seen about your friends and what they're doing, or whatever you, maybe you're having trouble with children and you're struggling with your relationship with your children. This is an open forum, and everything you share here helps everyone in the community. So it's kind of a fun thing, gift out there. And
if they don't ask it here, how can they ask you a question? Where should they drop that question to, Tamra?
You can actually send me an email. I'm collecting everything at Tamra, Tamra, at TamraBlankenship.com. Tamra, Tamra, Blankenship, Blankenship. And I'll put a link down below for you guys. And by all means, you can even contact me through Messenger here. However you would like to get information to me, go for it that way. And I know we're trying to keep this to like under 45 minutes. I don't know how long we've been going. I have no idea.
30 minutes, right? 30 minutes. But by the same token, I'm going to pick on some people because I'm real good at, when we're doing live events, I'm really good at picking on people for their names. So Tamra pronounces her name correctly, Tamra, T-A-M-R-A. So if you guys out there in TV land know anybody who spells her name T-A-M-A-R-A, that's Tamara. Don't misunderstand. You correct them right now. You just go out there right now and tell them they've been mispronouncing their name all this time.
Yeah, it's funny, right? It's funny because I quite often sometimes go like Tammy. I'm like, what's that? I haven't been called that since I was a little girl. Isn't that funny? But it is funny. I really want to make this space something so special and sacred that we are really contributing and helping people have a more healthy love life and not feeling angry or victimized by relationships, because connection and communication is what we're here for, and it is an amazing gift we gift each other if we can do it in a way with non-attachment, meaning more neutral spaces where we create love and deep, vulnerable spaces for people to connect with us. And I love that. I have a great relationship with you in that way, where we have this beautiful connection where we're able to support each other through just about anything. And it has been really not a long-term relationship, but definitely a healthy relationship. And I think that I'm so grateful for you to be in my life in that way. And I think it's important that we share that relationship with many people.
Yeah, and we talk about it in terms of love and relationship, but it also works at work. If you're struggling with your communication at home, you're probably struggling with that same communication at work, either misunderstanding people or maybe saying the wrong thing, conveying the wrong message. When I first started learning about the 5 love languages, I thought it was absolutely amazing that he hadn't yet, and took him something like 10 years to produce one for the office. Because if I walk into my boss's office and I'm one of those people who likes to touch people, a hugger, and I walk up and put my hand on the boss's shoulder, the boss, who might be, hey, I hate physical touch, right?
Or be a female.
Yeah. Well, different story. He might pull away, and I think he doesn't like me. And it really doesn't have that effect at all. And if I were able to sit down and really have a conversation with him, he'd say, no, I like you great. And I go, in reality, it's always, but you're pulling away all the time. He goes, I just don't like being touched. But we never have those conversations. So understand that even in our work environment, if we're miscommunicating, it takes its toll on us. And so be aware that when we talk relationships, it's both personal and business.
Yes. And it is what you do in one place shows up everywhere in your life. Family, work, relationships, everything. And even your relationship with yourself, if you are talking negatively out loud, you're talking 10 times worse to yourself internally. So exactly, got to be kind to yourself. So yes, absolutely. And there's a lot going on anyway. Life is busy and it's moving at a rapid pace. And with this world of high technology and instant gratification, it is hard to keep up. And we wanted to cultivate this space to be a place to just celebrate what's going on for you and how we can meet you and help you navigate that direction and create peace around that for you. So we are sold up for the actual event in October, but we are going to go ahead and tag that down here below. Please put your information in there, and we will continue to collect anybody who wants to go into our next event. And if you want to take that course, or you want to learn more, please, by all means, put the information in there so that we can follow up with you. And we will see you guys next week.
And we'll probably talk about the unspoken language.
Yes, thank you.
Good job.
Yes, exactly. Body language is a big deal. Yeah. What your body is saying and how you're communicating is more visually. We do take a lot of our information visually before we actually hear the words. 100% true. And if if you're saying "I love you," that's not going to be received as love. So that's going to be like you're saying it out of resentment because you feel like you have to. Yeah. There's not much connection there. So yeah, exactly. So yes, absolutely, I totally agree. So love this time with you, and I'm so grateful for all the amazing people that tuned in with us today. And if you like what you see here, please share it along, and hopefully we can spread some more magic and more connections. If there's anybody
we'll see you next Wednesday.
Yes, absolutely. Next Wednesday, so see you guys then. Bye-bye.